Problem Solver Politics. I'm your host, Cardinellis, with Cody the Oracle.
Hey, everybody.
And it looks like Andrew Yang has swiped, stolen, grabbed, gotten a hold of Bernie Sanders' old ad guy. And it's causing a little bit of a stir. We wanted a little bit more about what's going on and why they would choose to go with the Yang campaign over the many others that were looking for him. And if you guys remember 2016, Bernie's ads were very compelling. It was totally awesome. The dude almost won in so many different ways. And a lot of that was because of his ads and the ad agency that worked with him. This is a big steal, a big swipe, a big grab for Andrew Yang. And here to tell us a little bit more about it is none other than Cody, the all-wise Oracle.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. So let's see. So basically, I guess just to kind of get the gist of it, I'll go through an article. It's actually an interesting article by the Daily Beast here. Basically, what happened is Bernie Sanders, the ad firm he used in his 2016 election, he is chosen. So, I mean, they maybe didn't steal him, but from other candidates, because Bernie Sanders chose to produce his ads in-house for this election cycle. They think they can save money, I guess, is their angle by doing an in-house ad production. We'll kind of go through and see if that's a good idea or not in a minute here. But the other thing is Andrew Yang actually capitalized on this. Now, I'm not sure exactly what kind of feeding frenzy there was for this. However, like I said, this firm worked with Bernie Sanders when name was pulled off. I mean, if you think Trump pulled off the upset of the century in 2016, if they hadn't stolen it from Bernie, he probably would have pulled up the upset of the century already, beating Hillary in that primary with everything rigged against him. So why he chose to go against him, interesting. But a little bit of background. So on Wednesday, Politico reported that the Yang campaign was hiring the firm Devine, Mulvey, and Longabaugh to help with media consulting. The firm has for years worked with a slate of Democratic candidates on federal and state races. But it's best known for its work on Bernie Sanders' 2016 presidential campaign, on which Tad Devine, one of the firm's namesakes, served as a senior advisor.
Yep.
Very interesting. Now, both Devine and the firm were set to reprise their roles in 2020, but they ended up not joining the Sanders election effort after what was described as strategic differences. In reality, the decision was largely driven by the belief within Sanders' orbit that they could save money and do a better job coordinating messages if they simply produced their ads in-house, which is very interesting to me.
It's a risky move that I generally agree with in business, because these ad agencies are super pricey. These account managers and the people that run them, the Mad Men style guys, want their $5 million thick paycheck on top of your $15 million program. I definitely see where they're coming from the savings angle. However, the second you bring all of that production in-house, for heaven's sakes, how long did we spend just rewiring this studio the other day? Like, 6 hours. It was absurd, okay? The second you bring production in-house, you need a ton of talent that is all of a sudden dedicated 24/7. And that is a much larger thing to bite off, you could easily bite off more than you can chew in your attempt to do that. If it works, yeah, you could save a lot of money. The question is, would the money savings be worth the stress? Because instead of writing checks now and getting this great content back, you're literally engaged in having to do this all yourself. Risky move.
Well, what's also interesting about it, which kind of was the part that okay, I'm going to show you guys on the screen right now. It's a little bit confusing. Not confusing, but the way you read this graph is the blue money is the blue line is the money the campaign raised. Gray money is how much that money they spent in the quarter. And then that last little bar is what they have left. It's very interesting to me, one, that so many candidates are in the red. Oh, my God. That's really bad. Yang isn't. But why would the candidate who raised $28 million, still has $6 million cash on hand, why would he be the one saying, we're going to save money going in-house? So I'm not saying the Daily Beast is wrong here. I'm sure they know more about the ins of the Bernie campaign than I do, but it is weird. I think it might be the other thing they mentioned there, the idea of coordinating the message might be. Maybe they thought but I mean, to be fair, like I said, Bernie Sanders probably wins a clean election. He probably wins an above board primary. So it is a little weird to say we think we can message better or save money. I mean, you're raising a ton of money. So that was really interesting to me. But a couple other things stood out to me in that article.
Or maybe this is just them actually sticking to their ideological guns, like screw the man. Those millionaires, they're making money off of a campaign. They don't deserve it. They shouldn't exist. We're bringing it in-house. That might have been what he was thinking.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I doubt Bernie himself made the call. He pays. I mean, it's the reality of things. You pay someone to make that call for you. You know what I mean? Like, there's a reason why you pay people. They make the call. You don't. But here's something I thought was kind of interesting from the Daily Beast
Stalin was
article.
very involved in the production of his propaganda too.
Whatever.
So, you know.
Anyway, so according to Daily Beast, they say so that the firm moved on from the Bernie campaign makes sense considering how large the Democratic field remains and how much work there is to grab from those still in it. But why the firm went with Yang, who has no real institutional ties to the Democratic Party, is less clear. A request from comment from both the campaign and Devine were not returned. That's really weird to me.
You know, that is
really
interesting.
Weird to me that, like, the Yang campaign wouldn't say, "Oh, we saw the work they did in 2016. We thought it was great. That's why we wanted to work with them." Like, there was now.
Yeah, they had options.
But that is also, hold on.
They had options. Why'd they choose Yang?
But also, hold on.
Okay.
Reading into the sentence, just to get ahead, the comment was not returned. There wasn't a no comment. Perhaps they, just didn't. They asked too late. They asked a weird question at a weird time, and they're like, I don't know how to answer this. And then they published the article because then we're going to wait for a response. I'm not going to say one way or the other. But it's interesting. So we wish them the best and appreciate the good work they did in the last campaign, Shakir said. Our in-house team is producing such great work. I'm sure the consulting class is a little worried about this approach being successful. So maybe you are right a little bit about the ideological thing where they're like, oh, this elitist consulting media class. Now, I'm going to play a couple ads in the background very quickly. This first one will be the most recent Bernie ad. This was the in-house 2020 ad they did. I'm going to have the audio muted on them because I think some copyrighted music's in here. But I just want to just visually take a look. And it's
Can I
way
say
too
something interesting
early to
while
count.
you're just playing if
well,
there's no audio, right?
Yeah, but it's going to be running in the background. But I just want you to look at it and just the big thing, keep in mind, he did a lot of 2016 ads and one 2020. But
They were compelling, though. It was the Bernie Sanders ads were great pieces of media. They were really good pieces of media, just sheerly from a media perspective. Phenomenal pieces of media. Their message really hit home when Socrates spoke about the emotional purge that art and media has to bring. I mean, there was that Socratic purge. Okay, no, it was Aristotle. Sorry, it was Aristotle. Anyway, so this is a good grab for whoever got him. But correct me if I'm wrong, Cody. There were other people vying for this firm, correct?
I don't believe that's official. No.
Well, of course, they're never going to disclose any of that.
Well, no, but I mean, I have no idea. According to Politico, it was a little bit interesting to them that it went with Yang. But I mean, it could be because hold on one second. Keep in mind, like I said, I showed this thing earlier. It's a Politico chart. Here's a list of campaigns according to Politico as of 10/15 are currently running in the red. Right?
Okay.
Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Amy Klobuchar, Beto O'Rourke, Julian Castro, Tulsi Gabbard, and then Steve Bullock, and you get down to the lesser candidates. That's probably why, man. Warren's probably already got somebody. Whoever worked with Hillary, that's the other thing to keep in mind. Remember, there's people that don't forget. Even though Bernie, someone made a hilarious tweet. I wish I saved it. Someone tweeted like, oh my God, I can't believe how much I hate Bernie Sanders. I always knew I hated him, but God, he's the worst. And this guy, individual, was working with the Hillary campaign, and someone tweeted out and said, well, you didn't hate him when he gave 39 speeches in 14 states for your candidate in 2016. He was great then. Now you hate him. Like, they haven't forgotten. Even though Bernie did everything he could to get in their good sides, they haven't forgot. That could be part of it. A lot of people being like, don't touch the old Bernie firm. Could be one of the reasons why they went to Yang, where they're like, we're not going to get Warren. Buttigieg, maybe. And then everyone else in the red, who's going to hire us? And Yang's the person.
It sounds almost like those old movies where this scrappy team of, rejects and rebels is put together in order to pull off this great triumphant victory in the last 25% of the movie, the fourth act.
Well, okay, 1 second. I want to get back and just really quick talk about that.
And then I got a cool little historical thing that kind of blew my mind, dude.
Okay, but the first Bernie ad, I'm just going to play it again in the background. This is the first one they produced. It's honestly too early to tell. One, it's the only ad he's done. Two, it's really just kind of like a shoot the rodeo kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, he had this huge rally, so we filmed it. And then we have a couple cuts. Because what I want to show, so this is just a recap.
I like your shoot the rodeo reference. That's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, to be frank, I've never found the origin. It makes sense. Like, oh, you just film the thing happening and then make something
shoot the rodeo. I'm digging that.
Anyway, so there's the Bernie ad this way. It's kind of easy one. Now, here is a couple of his ads from 2016. I'll just roll in the background while we're talking here. And you can notice, I'm not saying he made a mistake necessarily in doing this, but there's a difference in production level from the one ad we saw from So Far Done and the multiple I've seen from 2016.
Yeah.
Like, is this a wise saving money? I'm not.
I was about to say
sure.
that the flair doesn't seem like it's there. That's why I was dubious when we started this video. I'm dubious of those decisions because if they just like you said, if a clean and clear primary, you would have won with the media people that were doing it for you. You gotta trust them. They've earned their place at the table of knowing what they're talking about. And we saw the same thing happen here with Steve Knight. Steve Knight never used the same people that did the messaging in order for him to win his first competition. And he won with $800,000 against somebody that had $3.2 million. He won with a $1 to $4 ratio, and he never hired the same guys. And so it doesn't surprise me that all of a sudden, when Katie Hill marches in and she's got HBO behind her, making a freaking reality show of the first big millennial candidate and so on and so forth. Katie Hill.
Who?
Katie Hill.
Who's that?
Yeah, a defunct member of the squad. That
exactly.
We'll talk about.
Who is that? Anyway, I'm running a couple hours in the background here.
Yeah, she's ours here. So anyway, you gotta use these people if it's good, because we live in a media fuel environment. Like, that is the game, is messaging now. That is the game, is getting eyeballs on you online. You're gonna have, of course, the people that no matter what aren't going to vote for you, and then the people that no matter what are going to vote for you. And that middle ground is literally coaxed into your camp via messaging. So I don't know. I just don't view that as a wise move strategically. Now, before, I'd made a dig at Bernie Sanders saying that even Stalin was very involved in his own propaganda. So they're comrades, I knew that Stalin was big time into American Westerns. In fact, one of his favorite was a John Ford Western that was actually called The Lost Patrol, and he loved it so much that he ordered a Russian remake called The 13, and it was called an Eastern, which competed against the Westerns. And, that was always kind of a funny fact that everybody always knew about cinema history. But I didn't know that he also had he was huge on Tarzan the Ape Man, the 1932 version, the reason why Tarzan is named Tarzana. And My Name Carding comes from the Tarzan novels. And interestingly enough, they share something in common with Problem Solver Politics. Cody, check this out. Boom. His fifth favorite movie in his private collection was The Great Dictator by Charlie Chaplin.
Wow.
That is in our live stream opener, dog. It's in our live stream. Who'd have thunk?
Blowing my mind.
Blowing your mind. Right?
I can't believe he liked a very popular movie at the time.
Hey, look. I just connected the dots, and I thought I might want to share with you.
Connected the dots?
Connected the dots between our show's opener.
Okay, you think Gorbachev likes Star Wars?
Yeah.
I do.
Oh, that is too funny. You think Gorbachev likes Star Wars, dog?
Indiana Jones? Probably liked Indiana Jones.
You liked Indiana Jones too, huh?
Great movies. I think you did.
Oh, that's funny. Look. Hey, look. You can rain on my parade, dog. I just wanted to have the parade anyway.
It's interesting. I was not expecting it, but it's interesting. I was not expecting it.
So anyway, what do you think is going to come from this? Is Andrew Yang all of a sudden going to start pumping out some totally awesome TV ads?
I think first to wrap up on Bernie, I think the biggest thing, honestly, looking into the Bernie thing again, just kind of watching the ads again, looking into it, I think this quote sums it up. I think they know it's a gamble. I believe Shakir is one of the high-ranking officials on this campaign. He says, "We wish them the best and appreciate the good work they did in the last campaign, them being the firm. Our in-house team is producing such great work. I'm sure the consulting class is a little worried about this approach being successful." I hope that's him acknowledging they're kind of making a gamble here, and they're kind of saying, look, we're going to go against the traditions of we use these consulting things, and we're going to save some money. Just saying, early returns, man, that ain't it. I think they should have spent the money, especially when you're making it. So that's the Bernie end and my end of it. I think it is a gamble. Right now, I don't think it'll pay off for him, especially because he's making so much money.
We will see.
If he's one of these candidates running in the red, hey, I hear it, man. You got to do it. But I mean, $5 million on hand as of a couple of weeks ago. A lot's changed since then. And then we could see right here is an article from the Des Moines Register about a week ago about from when those data points were refreshed. Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden spent the most in Iowa in the past 3 months, with Andrew Yang third. I can't imagine a good political ad costs so much more than an in-house one that the increased credibility and just production value of it doesn't win for you. Because that Bernie Sanders ad they ran, you know what? That's pretty good for like...
Because honestly, an $8 million flop is of no use to you, even if it saves you $2 million off the $10 million awesome.
Oh, yeah. Well, Sanders is outspending people in Iowa by a ton.
Yeah.
Remember, Biden's in the red. Like, Biden's spending all the money, and he isn't even ahead of Sanders in Iowa. So Sanders is really spending there. I don't know. It's a very interesting move. Now, for Yang, I think it's a great move for Yang. I mean, now that we got the Bernie stuff out of the way, for Yang, man, I think this is a really big deal. Reason being, this is the kind of stuff, and people always ask, like, how is Andrew Yang actually going to, like, win, actually be elected president? He's going to win a primary, move through the stuff, being an outsider. And I'm sorry about that, guys. Kicking my table. But the big thing he's going to have to do, and this is him doing it, and it's what Donald Trump did. It's the same problem he had, which is you have to find a way to win over establishment people one way or another. If you have to start with the ad revenue people, the ad marketers, the consultants, the media, if you have to start there and work your way back towards the other establishment types, so be it. And I think this is him doing that. We might do another video on it, but I want to bring it up here. Yang is also the only 2020 Democrat embracing a super PAC.
Yes.
Still in the race. The only 2020
We
Democrat
should
still
talk
in
about
the
that
race.
its own video.
Of course, but I always don't want to bring it up is Andrew Yang is going to have to do things like go out and I'm assuming it wasn't cheap to hire this firm. Go out there, spend some money, acquire some of these, I don't want to say legitimized stuff, but just you have to kind of show some of the people in D.C. you mean business and you're serious. And I think taking Bernie's old ad firm, paying them money, having him take over for strategizing, I think that's a good move for him. I think he has to pull out all the stops.
Yeah, and you heard me talking about this exact same thing just yesterday. I'm helping produce a piece of new media. It's going to be destined for the web, but it's a rebuttal to a controversial piece of literature, and it's done predominantly by a 501c3. So obviously, they're interested in doing it for as low a budget as possible, even though they do have budget. And we organized a budget for what I thought it would cost. And what's interesting is one of the guys spoke up and he said, "Hey, well, if we're going to be shooting at this university, could we maybe ask if there are students around that want to be able to shoot and help us out for credit and stuff like that?" And I immediately spoke up and I said, "Yeah, the big problem with that is." All of a sudden you have a production run by a bunch of students who don't know what they're doing that are showing up to get credit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a recipe for a really crappy production. Okay. It's one thing to have an internship program so your APs and your PAs and your production assistants learn a thing or two as you're doing your thing. And it's another thing to all of a sudden just have the inmates running the asylum. So that's a tough balance. I think we've basically expressed our opinion on this, and it's one where we're just gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah, but do you think? I mean, do you agree though on the notion that this is something that Andrew Yang, one way or another, has to get into these circles, and if the way you get into that circles is you go out of your way and you pick up these big because again, it can't be cheap, and you burn your money on the stuff like this. It could be the trap. I'd say that could
it can't
be
be
the trap,
cheap, but you got it. And also, what's so interesting is like Andrew Yang is always bringing to the forefront ideas that were old but are now perceived new and unorthodox. UBI is perceived as new and unorthodox because people don't realize Milton Friedman wrote this. It was proposed in the 60s and was already passed in the early 70s once. We just happen to forget about it because that was literally 50 years ago. Okay, so now the Democratic norm is super PAC bad, Citizens United bad, Orange Man bad, no super PACs, for just this nebulous reason of no super PACs, because big money must inherently be bad money. And I don't subscribe to that idea. It's just like a big corporation can be actually a great corporation that does a lot for its employees, like Chobani, dividing up 1/10 of the company as a disbursement to everybody that helped start it. That's a phenomenally great company that is huge.
Very rare.
Yeah, sure, it's rare, but Andrew Yang's candidacy is rare, and I'm sure his super PAC is going to be rare.
No, but I think it's more along the lines of...
So big money doesn't mean bad money.
Yeah, but
and if you want to win this race, you need money, so go big. The rules of the game allow for super PACs right now, so you got to. It's like ballot harvesting. Yes. You can complain about it and not do it and lose, or you can recognize... We got to win this election. Change it once you're in office, sure.
Exactly.
That's the rules of the game right now.
Exactly.
And you're stupid not to play by the rules. It's like complaining about the Electoral College and refusing to go to Maine and Wyoming and then wonder why you lost by 5 electoral points.
Yeah, well...
To
be fair, does any candidate any candidate campaign in Wyoming? Does anyone realistically have their Wyoming tour?
It's dollar for dollar. It's
I guess,
less,
yeah. And you can get some delegates,
and you can get some delegates, and you can get. It's just like Iowa. Why do we all fight for Iowa?
Well,
because it's an early adopter state,
that's why.
And these strange little influences end up happening.
But big thing I want to say just on that, I agree 100%, and part of that, I agree 40%, I guess. Okay. I think the big thing though, like you said, is. If he wants to get rid of super PAC's influence in office, he's got to get in office, and maybe you have to use like I said, he is running the longest of long shot campaign, and that requires pulling out all the stops.
Pull out all the stops.
Like I said, and what it looks like, again, he had been, because you look at the way the money's been going in and out of these campaigns, he had been sitting on a decent amount of money. Again, these numbers were last updated 10-15, about a week ago or 9 days ago, right? So I wonder if he'd been tweeting about, I wonder if this move was kind of one of those things we're talking about. Look, guys, I know you're not seeing the improvement you want yet, but don't worry. We're about to, put $5 million, bring in Bernie's old ad team, help us do our marketing visions and everything, really focus in on this stuff, and then pump money into Iowa. Because one thing also, I don't know if you guys noticed in that Des Moines, Iowa graph that showed how much everyone's spending in the state, Andrew Yang's third.
Yeah.
Andrew Yang's spending more than Kamala Harris, Cory Booker.
And he's
Andrew
not
Yang's
getting the results.
He isn't, but he has to
not
spend.
Getting the results. We just did a video this morning about it.
But also, oh man, I hope I'm not getting this wrong. Let me double check. I believe around this time, is this the one? Oh no, I apologize. Hillary Clinton actually did beat Bernie Sanders in Iowa, I believe.
Yeah.
So, not a good sign. If Yang needs Iowa and the people who tried to beat Hillary in Iowa lost.
Yeah, but that was because of juggernaut.
But, and also, it was a rigged primary, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know if Iowa
rigged primary,
in itself was
super
bad,
delegates,
thing,
and also, if you come within spitting distance, it's like Rocky, I just want to take him to the last round. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're even just last to the last round against the Hillary Clinton juggernaut, you are like a David going against a Goliath.
Well, I still think the most egregious thing of that, I don't want to rehash. I think the most egregious thing, though, of the 16 primary wasn't necessarily the super delegates, stuff like that. It was the fact that the DNC was basically running through the Hillary campaign during the primary. And that is so ridiculous. That is the thing that people start talking about, No, the fact that the DNC is supposed to be holding an open and fair primary, and one of the candidates basically ran the finances, absolutely out of this world. I'm not going to rehash it, but again, I think bold move for Bernie. It's a gamble. Right now, I don't see it paying off just looking at what the content they're pumping out. If they had a rally that big and that's the content they're delivering on, yikes. Could get better. I think he should have stayed with them. Bernie's bringing in a bunch of money. It wasn't a money thing, I don't think. I think it was a bet on ourselves. Let's revolutionize things. Let's go out there and make a gamble kind of thing. I think for Yang, exactly the kind of move Yang is going to have to make if he wants to shock the world and win this primary, win this election. He's going to have to do things like go out there, get Bernie Sanders' old ad firm, and really try to grease some elbows, try to rub some shoulders in DC establishment type circles.
Isn't it grease some palms and rub some elbows?
Yeah, whatever, man.
Because grease and elbows could be a really slippery and gross game if you're in a crowded room.
I don't get that one, but perhaps.
You just said grease their elbow. Anyway, whatever. Let us know what you guys think. Please like, share, and subscribe to this video. If you haven't had a chance, you can go out and get a hat at Problem Solver Politics, or contribute to the channel with a PayPal link in the description below. And make sure that you hang out with us on Tuesdays and Thursdays on Twitch, where you can give us a call, or you can do it right now. Actually, leave us a voicemail, and we go through all of our live calls and our voicemails on Twitch Tuesdays and Thursdays. This is Problem Solver Politics. We will see you in the next video.